The Jungle was a novel written by Upton Sinclair, a progressive author turned muckraker in the early 1900s. The Jungle depicted the life of workers in the meatpacking industry, where Sinclair used vivid and gruesome details to portray the unsanitary conditions and methods they practiced. Due to its immediate impact, The Jungle became an international hit, being published in 17 different languages and led to serious reform within the meatpacking industry. The Jungle was one of the most important novels of the Progressive era because it exposed the corruption and injustice of the large corporations and led to positive change and reform within many industries. Upton Sinclair moved to New York at age 10 to go to school and later go to college. Sinclair was very interested in writing and went to Columbia University where he sold stories about action, adventure, and war hero fiction. Upton Sinclair developed his progressive ideas after graduating from Columbia in 1897. During his struggle to find work as a writer, Sinclair became very interested in socialism. He agreed with many of its ideas, including the fact that American government should have control over the big businesses to keep things balanced. He began to write for Appeal to Reason, a popular socialist magazine at the time. While writing, Sinclair was told that he should report on the strike against the meatpacking industry in Chicago. Sinclair went there and observed the conditions and statuses of these factories where the meat was being processed, and wrote a fictional account based off what he saw called The Jungle. The book is about a fictional character, Jurgis Rutkus, who moves to Chicago with his family in hopes of finding a better life. While working in the factory, Jurgis noticed many corrupt things occurring. For instance, the bosses would speed up the assembly line so the work would get done quicker while still paying them the same wages. Also, the conditions of the factory are very unsanitary. There really weren't any health codes, so meat could be old or filled with bacteria before being sold to the American public. The bosses would spray down the unprocessed meats with chemicals and label them safe to sell. Also, these companies didn't provide any workers' compensation, meaning if an employee got hurt on the job, he wouldn't have his medical expenses relieved. Because of the very vivid storytelling by Sinclair in The Jungle, the media immediately attracted to it and took in what he was saying. They realized that even though the novel was made up of fictional characters, it was based on very true events. Sinclair was labeled as an accidental muckraker because he wasn't trying to do anything but write a good story. Later, the Special Commission issued a report confirming the horrors described in The Jungle. This caused public outrage and led to many people wanting drastic change in the meatpacking industry. President Roosevelt, one of the main supporters of reforming the meat industry, pushed for Congress to do something. They later passed the Meat Inspection of 1906, which allowed inspectors to stop any bad meat that was being shipped in and out of the U.S. This led to a long line of reforms that helped create a safer environment for food production in the U.S. and assured that the food we bought was regulated and for the most part safe. Upton Sinclair's The Jungle was very important to improving the nation as a whole because he influenced a cleaner, safer way to process our meats and ship them all around the world. The significance of The Jungle can be seen in every fast food restaurant and diner around the world, supplying us with regulated foods that are safe to eat and free of bacteria. Without The Jungle, these factories would have gone unnoticed for a lot longer and would have caused a lot more problems for the American public.